Want to get some coffee or something?
Can I get a cup of coffee? Black? Can't you see we talking? White?
Even little kids in Mexico drink coffee.
Well, I'm not a little kid in Mexico, okay?
That is the best coffee I've ever tasted.
A damn fine cup of coffee.
You want a cup of coffee?
No coffee.
Coffee drinker, huh?
Maybe we could grab some coffee?
Coffee! Coffee, 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 coffee!
God damn, Jimmy. That's some serious gourmet shit. Me and Vincent would have been satisfied with some freeze-dried Taster's Choice, right? And he springs this serious gourmet shit on us.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to another happy episode of Morning Coffee with Keith. Seems like we have a few things to discuss this morning. But first, let me bring in the man with the plan, John, a.k.a. Das Wolfen.
Hey, how's it going?
How you feeling, buddy?
I'm a little stuffed up, but I'm okay.
Cool. Because we're going to have some fun today. And of course, Mark Tane, the main man. How's it going?
Good morning, everybody. Everything is fine. How are you, Keith?
Good.
Oh, that's so nice to know.
I want to say hello to everybody in the chat. You know, wow. Seems like it's a lot of this room's hopping this morning. So hello, Lord Thoth. And of course, Sean. Wow. Welcome. Mexican Iron Man. That's what I'm talking about. Yes. And you know, Mike, you're welcome to jump on for a moment if you'd like to. And let's see. And then we have Joseph Dredd, D. Bud Martin, Krampus Jeebus. Wow. Oh, Apollome's Minion. Hey. Crusader Lion. Anima. Confusa. Wow. Dork Knight. What's up? Wow, this is turning out to be some kind of a welcome reception, Bill Barkley. Man, one would think you guys are really happy to be here this morning. Then again, it's Friday.
Got a Cameron Vale, too.
I noticed. Magitech Mags. Hello, Mags.
Hey, Mags.
Wow. Okay. Oh, and Retro Nerd Gear.
The best kind of nerd girl is a retro one.
Okay. Well, you know what? We might as well start at the top. First and foremost, what we'll be talking about today is what started out with a really a tweet from Dwayne Johnson. Let's see if I can pull this up. Let's see. Here we go. Now, what we have here is let's see. Oh, I pulled up the wrong thing.
That's what
Hold
she
on.
says.
Oh, ouch. Let's see.
Phrasing.
There we go. Let's see. Here we go. The Rock's tweet. Let's see. Now, turns out that, and my screen goes dark. What's going on? I didn't really push anything to make the screen go dark like that. Okay. Well, basically, there's a tweet by The Rock where he states that it appears, based on what he's seeing, that Black Adam actually did make money. And that, contrary to popular belief, come on. Wow. Okay. Here we go.
Have you got it? Because I've got it pulled up. I can share.
Yeah, go ahead and share that.
There you have it.
Okay. So basically, The Rock tweeted that he waited to confirm with financiers before he shared this excellent Black Adam news that our film will profit between 52 to 72 million. At almost 400 million worldwide, we are building our new franchise step by step. First, Captain America did 370 million for DC's future. Okay. So that has created a little bit of a back and forth. Some fans stating that that's not true, and others, using it as good news for what is lying ahead for DC Studios' future. Now, I personally think that while this does sound good, my own math doesn't show me that this is actually good news. I'm not saying it's going to lose, but I mean, I would really like to see the breakdown of how Dwayne Johnson and the financiers at Warner Brothers are actually having this all come out. So
it all boils down to how much they spend on advertising.
Basically. And so I don't think we have that at this point. But, again, if this is indeed true, and I'm not saying that Dwayne Johnson is lying or anything, but if this is indeed true, that's a good way to start. Unfortunately, there are always going to be changes anyway, because all of these films that are waiting to be released are all films that were approved while Hamada was running things. And so there were things inherent to all of these films that may not be in keeping with the future of DC Studios, and where David Zaslav wants Warner Brothers and the DC characters to go from here. That is really, in my honest opinion, that is really what it is. I know that there are people that, really like this film, but there are no guarantees that because this film got put out there, that any further film with this character and Dwayne Johnson would be a direct sequel to the way the stories and characters were left off. Meaning that we could easily see Pierce Brosnan back as Dr. Fate, and there could be other changes to put this more in line with the overall DC universe they are attempting to build.
Well, I know Pierce Brosnan has stated he is interested in doing more Dr. Fate.
Yeah, it's a good role. It's a good role for him. It's always good to have somewhat of Pierce Brosnan's background and credentials as a part of this. But I could also see other changes being made, trying to keep it more in line with the comics a little bit more. And I'm looking at the Red Tornado knockoff that they have in this film. Nothing against the actors playing the part, but I think if we're really going to go down this road, I think certain things are going to have to change to keep things a little more in line with the comics. But that's just my view at this point. But that also then takes us to the other big story that is a part of what this situation is, which was the breaking news that it looks like everything could be changing in total for the DC film slate. What we've heard is that Wonder Woman 3 is done, that Gal is done, that Henry Cavill is done, that Jason Momoa is basically done as Aquaman, and on and on and on, I think what started out is that I think a lot of people were really kicked off by the Hollywood Reporter story. Okay, so let's just go ahead and go to that. And it says, hold on, let's see if I can share screen. That would really help if I could do it correctly. There we go. So, Patty Jenkins's Wonder Woman 3 not moving forward as DC movies hit turning point. This is an exclusive story to the Hollywood Reporter, okay? New DC Studios heads James Gunn and Peter Safran are in the final stages of prepping their multi-year plan ahead of next week's pivotal presentation to Warner Brothers Discovery CEO David Zaslav. Okay? So, let's see. Let's just skip a little bit of the preamble and start with a cleaning of the slate is common when a new executive team is put in place to run a studio or division, but there is likely little precedent for the amount of Clorox James Gunn and Peter Safran could spray as they prepare to launch DC Studios and guide superhero movies for the next half decade and beyond. The duo in recent days flew back to Los Angeles from the snowy city of Aspen, Colorado, where they were huddled in deep planning and now, like holy figures coming down from the mountaintop, have sets of commandments or a DC Bible in hand, or at least a working blueprint. Gunn and Safran are expected to meet next week with David Zaslav, the Warner Brothers Discovery CEO, who is radically reshaping the media company and who hired the duo in October to lead a newly launched film and TV division. The pair will unveil to Zaslav a plan that is expected to lay out their vision. Although much of their plan, which insiders paint as still a work in progress and one that is yet to be approved, is being kept deep in the Batcave. Details of several possible paths forward are trickling out, and at least one path not being taken has also been revealed. Multiple sources tell the Hollywood Reporter that Patty Jenkins's Wonder Woman 3 is not moving forward and is considered dead in its current incarnation. Now, I'm going to stop here and clarify a little something here. Patty Jenkins had been working on her own treatment for the story for Wonder Woman 3, okay? She met at Warner Brothers and gave them her treatment for that story. Now, I'm gonna pick up with this part of the story right here. This is telling. Sources say that Jenkins recently submitted her treatment, co-written with Jeff Johns, and that Gunn and Safran, as well as Warner Brothers Pictures co-chairs and CEOs Michael DeLuca and and Pamela Abdi, broke the news to the filmmaker, telling her the project, as it stood, did not fit in with the new but still unfolding plans. Jenkins directed and co-wrote the previous two movies starring Gal Gadot and released in 2017 and 2020. No decision has been made about next steps. Now, let me stop here and say this. While Jenkins did help out with the writing of both films, she had two different co-writers for both of those films. And while she was directing, the first film that came out in 2017 also had a lot of input by the entire Snyder team and Charles Roven, who was the overall producer in helping to put all of that stuff together. When it came time to do the movie from 2020, Jeff Johns and she were the two that put that script together. Okay? So given the response to both films, it is telling that Patty decided to re-team with Jeff Johns to put this idea for Wonder Woman 3 together. That, in my opinion, is the most telling part of all this, and a major red flag as to the reason why they responded the way that they did. Basically, I think we were getting, in my opinion, we were getting more of a direct sequel to the story that they started with Wonder Woman 84. With Jeff Johns and Patty Jenkins writing it, I think there was no doubt that we were getting more of the stuff that many people just didn't like. Now, Patty has had a history with superhero films that extended before Wonder Woman. Okay? So she was the original director for what started out being Thor 2, not Thor the Dark World. And originally, when she was a part of it, Hela was the villain. Plans changed. Kevin Feige informed her of the changes, and she didn't feel that she could contribute based on how much things had changed, and so she left. I was kind of surprised that she decided to stick around personally to put together the basic story for Wonder Woman 3, considering how people reacted to the last film. Patty is a good director, but she's someone who, in my opinion, doesn't seem to have a feel for a lot of these characters. And Jeff Johns, by all rights, who should have a feel for a lot of these characters, somehow just can't make it really work when it comes to a lot of the scripts that allow these characters to come to life. See his previous work, not only on Wonder Woman 84, but him being the go-to producer and power behind the scenes, having overseen both Suicide Squad and Justice League. What you had was just a recipe for disaster. And while, again, Patty Jenkins' idea for Wonder Woman 3 was rejected, there was no real rejection of her. Based on things that I have been informed, it was just her idea was rejected. She took it kind of personally and decided she doesn't want to do this anymore. That's everything with Wonder Woman right there. Now, Wonder Woman 3 technically is still on the table, as long as Gal Gadot wants to do it. And Gal did come out with a statement. So those of us that were able to go online and see uh, uh, Gal Gadot's statement about wanting to let's see. Gal Gadot's statement is that part of her tweet read, let's see, here we go. I've been so grateful for the opportunity. Gal Gadot's recent tweet completely contradicts James Gunn's shutting down Wonder Woman 3 rumors. Her entire tweet is, a few years ago, it was announced that I was going to play Wonder Woman. I've been so grateful for the opportunity to play such an incredible, iconic character. And more than anything, I'm grateful for you, the fans. Can't wait to share her next chapter with you. Okay? That is her tweet. So that does not sound like someone who will not be seen in another Wonder Woman film. So the people that are going out there and speculating that there are all these wholesale changes coming down, for the most part, it would appear that that may not be the case. James Gunn has since tweeted a response not only to the Hollywood Reporter story, which again was an exclusive given to them by people inside, some of whom, as Tom from Midnight's Edge and others have speculated, might have been former Hamada people putting a lot of this stuff out there.
Yep.
So let's see about James Gunn's.
Well, they can completely revamp the story without changing the actor who's playing the character.
True. So let me go ahead and do this. There we go. So James Gunn states, so as far as for the story yesterday in Hollywood Reporter, some of it is true, some of it is half true, and some of it is not true, and some of it we haven't decided yet whether it's true or not. Although this first month at DC has been fruitful, building the next 10 years of story takes time, and we're just beginning. Peter and I chose to helm DC Studios, knowing we were coming into a fractious environment, both in the stories being told and in the audience itself, and there would be an unavoidable transitional period as we moved into telling a cohesive story across film, television, animation, and gaming. But in the end, the drawbacks of that transitional period were dwarfed by the creative possibilities and the opportunity to build upon what has worked in DC so far and to help rectify what is not. We know we are not going to make every single person happy every step of the way, but we can promise everything we do is done in the service of the story and in the service of the DC characters we know you cherish and we have cherished our whole lives. As for more answers about the future of the DCU, I will sadly have to ask you to wait. We are giving these characters and the stories the time and attention they deserve, and we ourselves still have a lot more questions to ask and answer. And to emphasize that point, here we have another Alex Ross piece that James Gunn has placed here. Very, very appropriate because it is the Justice League. This
The
is
full
really,
league.
yeah, this is the Justice League, not the adapted Justice League of animation that certain people have quote unquote grown up with, or various incarnations like in Super Friends or others. No, this is the Justice League. That isn't to say that there aren't more characters that could not be added. And again, in the Justice League, there's room really for everybody. But I also would say that certain people should not get it in their heads that certain characters will not be a part of the Justice League, or they shouldn't be a part of the Justice League. And I'm looking at you, Green Lantern fans. Hal Jordan will be a part of what is to come. In fact, they're going to give us everybody. It would be dumb to start cutting characters.
Everybody, yay, Jack T. Chance. No.
So basically, Retro No Girl. I am so glad you are explaining this because many fans interpreted this article as DC canceling Gal Gadot's Wonder Woman, which is not what THR said. Yes. There's just been a lot of talking. A lot of people just get a little too excited. We should calm down and see what James Gunn is going to give us. That's all. That's it. There's a lot to do. And again, what everyone really has to truly understand is that the movies that are coming out were all approved under Hamada. A lot of the delay, in my personal opinion, has been having to adjust these films to not be so Hamada pre-Warner Brothers not good quality, and to give it a much wider quality that everyone can really enjoy. With Black Adam, it was just a large number of cuts they had to do throughout that entire movie. That movie was chopped, but it had to be because they had to take out all of the really bad things that were added to the script that Dwayne Johnson had to agree to in order to get that movie made. And so, you just chop out all of the really stupid stuff, and what you're left with is that movie. So, there's a lot of work to be done, and the full breadth and scope of what they are attempting to do, it's going to take us a while to get there. Okay? So, really, I think what James Gunn and Peter Safran, David Zaslav, and everyone just basically want everybody to just hold on a little longer. Don't lose your heads. But we'll eventually see what they have in store for us, and then that would be the time to react once that comes out. Let's see. Dark Knight has The Rock versus John Cena with James Gunn in his corner. Need to wrestle a match for control of the DCU. Hey, Zaslav would basically broadcast that if there were any real money in it.
Yeah.
Let's see. Hoping Power Girl will be a part of the Justice League. Chances are Power Girl probably will be let in, but they're going to keep her as a part of the Justice Society.
Yeah, that's who she's associated with, more than the Justice League.
Let's see. Magitech Mags. The former regime was a hot mess. Ain't that the truth? I'm willing to give the new one a chance. We'll just have to wait and see what the meeting next week's meeting will reveal. You're right, Mags. We do have to wait and see. Marcos. Nailed it, Keith. All the Hamada approved movies and stories. Yes. Let's see. And that takes care of those. So yeah, again, there's a lot that needs to be covered. And as James Gunn had pointed out, this isn't just about film and television. Okay? They really need everyone to know that they are trying to put together something that will also cover animation and gaming. Okay, they are wanting to give us everything on this. So I think we should give them that time. They've at least earned that much from us. So what do you think, John?
Well, I think that I can't believe I'm actually going to say this, but I think I'm going to trust James Gunn and Peter Safran to guide this the way that they need to guide it, and that Zaslav has signed off on it. Because I wasn't sure about James Gunn taking over the DC, the whole DC thing, but he looks like he's got it in firm in hand. So let's see what he does with it.
Well, how about you, Martin? What do you think?
Well, I did like the Suicide Squad, and I did like, oh my God, the show with John Cena, Peacemaker.
Yes.
Yeah, I know that they have their issues, but I like it. I like the shows. However, I cannot open my veins and scream James Gunn is the savior. But I'm very willing to see what he and the new administration has to offer.
Okay. Fair. That's fair. Let's see. Bill Barkley. What's this?
Oh, sorry.
Oh, that's all right. Speaking of Justice Society, isn't Stargirl part of that? Stargirl is actually a part of Greg Berlanti's version of the Justice Society. So you got to weigh that versus the Justice Society as presented by Dwayne Johnson, and that you've seen in Black Adam.
Well, I would like to point out that the Berlanti-verse is dead.
For the most part, yeah, it is.
The only show, the last episode ever of Stargirl aired this past week. And next month, we see the start of the final season of Superman and Lois.
Which is unfortunate.
Yeah, it was the one bright spot after the first two Arrows. And I saw an article that said that CW lost millions upon millions and it was never profitable.
Yes. Yeah, not just because of Berlanti. I mean, the whole network was just not profitable. And I agree. You know, it's still unfortunate because as a series, Superman and Lois was very well done. You know, I wish they could have they would have found a way of making that more of an exclusive to HBO Max and at least continue the series on HBO Max. But I can understand why they want to try to just move everything on, which is sad. But,
yeah,
you know, I personally was never a fan of Stargirl. I was not a fan really of any of the Berlanti shows after I just quit watching Flash. Lord thought, you know what though? This is all more of the more modern DC stuff. I get what you're saying, but this is how a lot of stuff rolls. I think the thing that really excites me about the possible future is that with someone like James Gunn, who's about my age, his view of DC Comics characters is about like mine. You know, there are a lot of characters to choose from. And if you really want a peek inside of what he could possibly do, you got to understand, we're not talking about DC Comics fans who have only been fans in the last 10 years. If you're someone that's come along and have been reading the DC Comics over the last 10 years, I'm going to help you out a little bit. A lot of that's trash. I wouldn't even put it out to have my dog piss on it. It's so bad.
Ouch.
Okay. And guess what? Marvel Comics over that same period of time, worse.
Yep.
Okay. So, as far as DC goes, what you're going to be getting is a good portion of what these characters were like according to the way the comics were prior to 10 years ago. So if you really want to understand where we're going, you need to start looking at the books that were put out closer to the beginning of at least the last decade, you know, at least 2000 to 2010.
Yeah.
Although personally, I think you should just go all the way back to at least the mid 90s.
Yeah.
You know, if you really want to be safe about it.
Just League International, yes.
Look, the great thing about James Gunn is Andrew Kreisberg. I see what you. Yes, okay, yeah, I do remember our conversation. You're right. Andrew Kreisberg is the dude. Yes. We were discussing on one of the other shows that Berlanti had a partner who was working with him on a lot of shows who got canceled. And Andrew Kreisberg, that is right. Andrew Kreisberg did get canceled. Let's see. Hold on. Saying Lois and Clark shouldn't have kids is like saying they shouldn't be an item and be married. Well, yeah. I mean, again, Marcos. Thank God. Was never a fan of CWDC's heroes. They will not be missed. The CW reported it never made a profit, so all that money wasted nonstop. That's ridiculous. Good riddance. I can't say that I disagree with you, Marcus. I'm serious. I can't say that I disagree with you. I was a fan of the first 2 seasons of Arrow and the first 3 seasons of The Flash. Outside of that, the rest of it was just not that good. And again, to be completely honest, Legends of Tomorrow for me was straight up not good from the pilot on. I figured out how that entire thing was ending by the middle of the pilot. I knew what the end of the episode was. So let's see. Oh wow. CJ with action grip. CJ with action grip. Meh. I read all this comics down to the 80s. I know how these characters should be. Yeah. I think it'd be too much to ask to see about James Gunn trying to bring all the characters back to the way they were in the 80s. But Scribe Like, good morning. And Bill Barkley says he actually liked Legends of Tomorrow's pilot. Hey, look, to each his own, my man. I was just never a fan of it, you know. And again, to me, it should have been subtitled The Leftovers Show. Stephen Amell's acting chops increased in oppositional relation to the downward quality of Arrow itself. In those first few episodes, he was a block of wood. I can see that.
Yeah.
I can see that. I just didn't appreciate. I just didn't appreciate the fact that you had stuff hinted at that was never filled. You know,
Ted Cord.
When it came both Arrow and the Flash, they hinted at things that they would never follow through on. You know, whether it be Metamorpho or Hal Jordan or, of course, Ted Cord. To me, it was just, you know, and yeah, I meant what I said, Marcos. And as far as Stargirl is concerned, look, even Gary laughs when I call that Juicebox Justice League series. So I mean, that's what Stargirl was to me.
When they announced Stargirl, I was so hyped because I'm a big Justice Society fan.
I get
But
that. I can see that.
They completely. There's some things I like that they did, but there's a lot that they screwed up as far as I'm concerned, and just.
And it's unfortunate. Now, I still think that we're going to be inundated with a lot of projects that were greenlit under Hamada. That means I think it's still going to be another 2 years of animated stuff that we're going to have to sit through. I personally think that James Gunn and Peter Safran should just stop that ASAP. finish out whatever they got left to finish and end it. End the current grouping of animation that they have. These direct-to-home films that are more adaptations of the more recent comics that, again, as I've said, I've gone on record to say they're trash. And get us back on track with some real DC storytelling. Let's see. Hold on. CJ with Action Grip says, asked if Star-Lord dies in the third Guardians, I will have a few ideas on who I'd want him to play in DC.
We've already discussed that before.
You see this, John?
Yep.
I think he's perfect to be Booster Gold.
Oh yeah. No arguments. Because my original choice aged out of it. So I've been trying to get a Booster Gold movie for 20 years now.
You might be a lot closer to getting what you want.
Read this.
Hold on. Let's see. It ended right on time before they had destroyed Booster Gold. Speaking of, if they do a Booster Gold movie, Gunn keeps to have involvement personally. That character is made for. Yeah, that character is kind of made for him. Although, that being said, this is. I can't believe I'm about to say this. I could actually see James Gunn considering doing something with Ambush Bug. I know that sounds wrong. I know it does. And for those of you who have only been fans of DC Comics for the last 10 years, what I just said probably didn't even register with you, but trust me. Keith Giffen, Ambush Bug.
You know me, I'm a big Keith Giffen fan, so
yeah.
Wow. It makes sense.
I mean, Ambush Bug, if I remember correctly, Ambush Bug even predates Deadpool.
Yeah.
By a little bit.
Yep.
So all the stuff that Deadpool did without killing people is who Ambush Bug was.
And it fits Gunn's humor perfectly.
Wolverine 626 says, this is to me. James Gunn did confirm some animated projects will be Elseworlds and not connected to DCU. You know what? I was saying this 2 years ago that they should just go ahead and bring other things to life as far as the kinds of stories that can be told. I think Young Animal, among other divisions, should be brought to the front and put out there. I think a lot of those things. Helix was another comic line, and of course, Black Label, stuff like all that stuff. I think it's something that they should consider. Let's see. Hold on. We also need to get Ted Cord Beetle, though. Not that crap that is in production. You know what, Lord Thoth? Here's the thing, though. I like Jaime Reyes. He's got a good story.
Yeah, I initially was resistant because I've been a Blue Beetle fan since I was a little kid when I was reading them in Charlton Comics.
I like you, yes, I've been reading Blue Beetle since I was But let me just say this though. What makes you think that unless this new Blue Beetle movie is a $1 billion film, what makes you think that all the things in that movie are going to be basically carried over into whatever sequel they decide to make for it?
Yeah, it depends on how it does, obviously.
That's right. It's a Hamada film. So it's already being looked at as far as how we can dismantle it and fix it and bring it into what they're doing. All of these upcoming movies are all being looked at right now. None of the new films under James Gunn have gone into production yet.
Right.
In fact, nothing's really been written yet. So all of the films that are coming are all Hamada movies. And part of the delay has been to try to fix them so that they don't all suck. I mean, that's the easiest way to put this.
Yeah.
Let's see, hold on. Uh
It's a three-parter. It starts here.
oh, Shinadsky. Okay, modern DC in a nutshell. They're gay. And if they're not, we'll make them gay. Okay, you got a point there. Yet they never did Batman and Robin as a gay couple. I mean, come on. Really, Shinatsky? Come on.
I know.
Like, if I grew up without parents, you can grow up without. Really?
Trust Shinatsky.
Got my eye on you, Shinatsky. Let's see. And Retro Nerd Girl.
Oh.
Let's see. I'm wondering how Peacemaker will fare through his plan. You know what? Peacemaker, if you really think about the entire series, there's a lot of stuff that's been kept so vague in the background that I think it's almost set up to just go with whatever they ultimately decide.
Yeah.
You know, Lord Thoth, yes, but you are skipping 2 generations of Beatles, the original and K-Chord. Then you can go to the new one. You know what? I get what you're saying. My idea would be that when you retool Blue Beetle with Jaime Reyes, that you just bring in Ted Kord and actually do something that they should have done in the comics, which is had Ted Kord as Jaime's mentor. Because he's the only person that did an extensive deep dive study on that scarab. And so he would know things about that scarab that he, you know, outside of being bonded to the scarab, there are things that Ted Kord knows about that scarab that might be useful to Jaime. That's all I'm saying. I'm not saying get rid of Jaime and his family and all. I say keep his family. But this whole thing about Ted Kord having a sister, the Susan Sarandon role, that's trash automatically. Get rid of that.
Yep.
I will definitely say this. I love Susan Sarandon. I've always liked her as an actress. Her role has got to go. She can play somebody else.
I would have rather had them do the Reach than I would the...
Yeah. Let's see. Magitech Mag says... Exactly, Keith. What's coming out now is from the old regime. Zaslav and Gunn are trying to pick the best of the sad crop and see if it fits in. Yes.
Yep, exactly.
Here's something that I know a lot of people asked originally, and this is not something, though, that people are continuing to ask, but it's a question that's been going around in my mind, and maybe it's in yours. You notice all this stuff they're talking about, and what's the one thing that has not been brought up? What's going to happen to the publishing and the comics?
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I want to see James Gunn and Peter Safran take on that, because to me, part of the problem with the MCU right now is that Kevin Feige is doing too much. He controls all of that, basically. All of it is under his purview. And I believe that that's part of the problem with the current MCU, is that you've got someone like Kevin Feige who's scattered now and looking at everything. And he's not concentrating on the 2 things he should be concentrating on. But that's just me, Let's see. Wolverine 626. DC should revert Black Label back to Vertigo and use that for Elseworld titles. Black Label just sounds weird.
Sounds like a whiskey brand.
It does sound like a whiskey. I said that when they started it, and you know what? I think Vertigo would be good. Vertigo would be, that would be the way to go. So let's see. Let's see. Mags, Keith, I don't put Zaslav or Gunn on a pedestal. However, they are fresh, and I'm willing to give them a chance. And that's all I'm saying. Just give them a chance. Although Zaslav, I will say this. There is a big difference between Zaslav and Warner Brothers and, say, Bob Iger and Disney. Because Zaslav's company actually brought out Warner Brothers, he was able to choose the board and everything else, which means he has a total control over the entire company that Iger does not have, technically, or at least shouldn't have, because Iger is only a hired gun. He does work for the board. He works for the shareholders. Okay, he didn't buy out Disney, so the ability to be able to make and choose to do whatever he wants is not something that anyone that is going to take that top job at Disney will ever have, unless they can afford to buy it out, like, say, Apple, which, again, according to Valiant Renegade, can basically buy out Disney at least 12 times, I think his calculations came up with.
Yeah, that's
yeah,
that's well, they are the first $1 trillion company, I think.
Just saying. I'm just the messenger. But again, Zaslav has no real barriers between him and what he wants to do. Really, it's just he's at least smart enough to know that there are certain things he knows he can't do. And he just wants to hire the best people to get that done to entertain all us fans. That's all. And for all you newer fans, look, I am so sorry these last 10 to 12 years have sucked for you. You may not know it, but they have. So things are going to get better. And James Gunn is about my age. And so in a way, it's almost like letting me do it, except, it's James Gunn doing it. But I hope he and Peter will at least attempt to give all of you the best of what DC had prior to 10 years ago. So,
yep. Well, one thing I'm hoping for in the future is I hope that they take Peter's background into account and actually do a full-blown horror Justice League Dark section of the universe.
Yeah, well, that again, that's part of what DC can do. A lot of younger comic book fans don't even know that part about DC's history, publishing history. There is a lot in there, and some of the characters for those of you who actually watched and enjoyed the Sandman series on Netflix, the twins that you met in episode 2, I think it was, those are mainstay characters from DC. House of Secrets was one of those comics that was pretty much an anthology horror comic. And Cain and Abel. Yeah, those are actual proper DC characters that Neil Gaiman got permission to use for the story. He did not create those characters. In fact, the original Sandman comic is loaded with DC characters that he did not create. And I think a House of Secrets series would be an excellent way to go to help open up the supernatural side of the DC universe.
Yeah. Can I address what Mag said?
Yeah, go ahead.
I want a hopeful Superman too, but I also want to see, I want that whole 4-color classic style superhero with Superman and everybody like I grew up with. That's what I want to see, but I also want to see the dark corner of the universe and see it have its own little thing going on that still ties into what's going on with the direct DC universe.
That's fair. That is fair. Again, Mags, I don't know how much experience you have with DC Comics and how long you've been reading it or where you came in at. But let me just say this. There is a whole side to DC that a lot of modern fans do not know. And I know I keep saying that in almost every appearance I've made on other shows and shows that we've done. But it's because I keep saying it because it's true. What Jeff Johns and Walter Hamada seemingly didn't seem to understand is that you're talking a massive amount of material and IP that they have never touched. There are areas that match up one for one, and in certain cases, even outdo Marvel. You know, DC Cosmic and Marvel Cosmic are two different things. You know, when Marvel went cosmic, a lot of their cosmic stuff is based on fantasy and magic.
Yep.
Whereas the DC cosmic is science fiction.
Yep.
Okay. So both of them are adventure. So it's cosmic adventures, but the Marvel stuff is, you know, angled mainly towards the magical stuff and the fantastical. Whereas the DC stuff, it's like the differences between, say, it's like the differences between, say, a show like The Expanse, okay,
Yeah.
and a show based on, say, Star Wars.
Yeah.
You know, The Expanse is science fiction. Star Wars is science fantasy. That's all it is. That's it right there. So there are a few things that kind of cross over in the middle there, but for the most part, that's how the two companies define themselves, starting in the 1950s and into the 60s and 70s. So what I'm hoping that James Gunn will turn around and do is be able to bring us a lot of characters that are seemingly forgotten. And for those that do not know them, a lot of this stuff is going to be brand new to you. You know, there's, again, there's just so much. Oh, wait a minute. Marcus A says, Keith, my point I was making, you got distracted. Happens. Gunn and Peter aren't going to just make whatever and not have to check with the boss first to make sure it's what he wants. Also, will be accountable. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. These guys will definitely be accountable. You know, that seems to. I think the thing with Kevin Feige covering phases 1 through 3 is that technically he was accountable. You know, in phase 1, he actually had someone to answer to. Later on in phase 1, though, that person was no longer an obstacle for him, and he was able to do more. He was able to bring in characters and other things that he may not have been allowed to before. Unfortunately, I think he's just taken on so much that he is not able to give everything the same care that he started out giving originally. And I think it shows, you know, in the quality of phase 4 as a whole and in the Disney Plus series. That's all. If you enjoyed phase 4, more power to you. I hope you did. I hope you got everything and then some out of it. I personally was not that entertained. I found a lot of things to be not up to a certain kind of quality. And in my personal opinion, overspending a lot on things that they never should have spent that kind of money on. You know, again, I still can't understand the reason why you would spend anything over 75 to 80 million dollars making a Black Widow movie.
Yeah. The only
You
thing
know,
good that came out of Phase 4 was Spider-Man, and that was done by Sony.
that's the Sony thing, you know. But I just don't get that whole treating Natasha like she's some sort of a super powered person. She's human. You know, she's trained, but she's human, you know, and that entire story was useless, is really what it was. They should have just told, like, it should have been like the movie Salt in many ways.
Yeah.
That's a good example. Oh, go ahead.
They kept acting like she had the super soldier serum.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And she never did.
Yeah, she never did. And all that stuff with Taskmaster and all that entire thing, it should have been no bigger than the average Bourne film. Because that really is, that's how she operates. That's the world she operates in. She's not a superhero. That's one of the mistakes of Phase 4. You know, Black Widow, Shang-Chi, you're taking street level heroes and turning them into superheroes. And, you know, hey, Florence is a nice looking young lady. I'm, you know, but the real challenge will be, could you see her character surviving something like Haywire? Or that's a good film, or like Atomic Blonde, or even Salt.
Yeah,
you know, that would be my question to all of you. If you've never seen those films, you need to sit down and watch those movies. Okay, do you think, you know, Scarlett Johansson as Natasha or Florence Pugh as her sister, either one of those characters could have survived the plots of those particular films?
Yeah, that's
because to do anything else, to try to make any one of them seem like they can go toe to toe with any of Thanos's people, and no, that's way above their pay grade. You know, we're talking James Bond, just below James Bond level stuff. I mean, you know, Natasha would have had a good time going a couple rounds with John Wick.
yeah.
That's the level of entertainment there for any Black Widow movie. It's John Wick meets Jason Bourne. You know, that should be that. And you shouldn't be spending over 75 to 80 million dollars on any of that stuff.
Nope.
So that's just my view. I know it's not a popular view, but that's how I view it. You know, and there's just no reason to have spent the kind of money that they ended up spending for a lot of the stuff they ended up making in Phase 4. That's all.
Yep.
And again, I know it's not a popular view, but let's see. Bill. Oh, hold on. Marco says they ruined Taskmaster. Yes, they did.
Yep.
Yes, they did. Let's see. And then Bill says, by the way, how come we never got a sequel to Salt? That's a good question. That's a real good question.
I don't know if it made enough to justify a sequel, did it?
I think it did. But
did it?
That's a good question. You know, wish they had treated the Black Widow movie as sort of a pseudo sequel then, because I mean, wow, there's all kinds of stuff that they just let go and not doing that right. And Magitech Mag says that's why we like Natasha. She is human. She doesn't have superpowers, but she has skills, ingenuity, and feminine seduction.
Salt cost between 110 and 130 million to make, and it grossed 293.5 million at the box office.
Wow.
So
That's cutting it kind of close.
yeah,
Still, though. Wolverine 626, Black Widow should have been like Atomic Blonde. I agree. Because, again, as Magitech Mags just got through saying, she has all these skills. And a lot of those skills, she doesn't utilize all of those skills when she's making an Avengers film.
No.
You saw some of it in the first Avengers movie, because that's how she got into the situation that she was in. You know, I mean, what did you think her job was? She wasn't there to get everybody coffee, you know.
that's Kathleen Kennedy's job.
Oh, gosh.
That's harsh.
Oh, rim shot. Wow. Ooh. Nah. Ugh. Good one, John. At Retro No Girl. They overspend on everything. Close to it, you know?
Yep.
And then Wolverine 626, didn't Salt die at the end? Huh. I guess you'll have to watch it again.
And I believe there was a after credit scene, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, you scored. You made Mads laugh, John.
I try.
And my man Marco says, Keith and John Martin, question for you all. Do you believe you will see the creative development in Marvel in the new project without Gunn's help in? He was so intricate and so much story building. Okay, well let's go to Martin first. What do you think, Martin? Do you think creative development in Marvel and then will be of any worth without Gunn's help?
Man, I don't know. To be honest, I don't know. I don't. The only thing I know is I don't believe in Marvel movies anymore, in their quality and.
Wow.
And James, here's my hot take on James Gunn. He needs someone to reel him in. When he's working alone, left to his own devices, man, he has problem managing the humor.
Yeah.
And you have infinite jokes that run for way too much time. But
well,
I don't know.
Do you think his jokes though land as badly as say Taika Waititi's jokes when he does it too much, or
No,
quite the same? Or?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's still a problem because the joke doesn't know that it ended 1 minute ago.
Yeah. Wow. Okay. How about you, John?
Well, let me just pose this question: how good was Phase 4 without Gunn's input?
Oh.
Because he was fired for the majority of the shooting of Phase 4.
Yeah.
John,
Yeah.
you're sniping today, man.
Wow, you are lethal, dude. Okay. Well, all I can say is, like my man John over here, I mean, the proof is in what you've seen. You know, Phase 4 went the way that it went without Gunn. You know, I think everything would have been a whole lot better with Gunn's involvement. But then again, I don't think we would have gotten the Eternals. Again, that much has been confirmed, that the Eternals was something that was placed in there because it replaced Guardians Volume 3. So that was Kevin Feige replacing Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Oh,
God.
Well, and you got to remember, Gunn was supposed to take over the whole cosmic side of things.
Yeah.
He was supposed to be handling all that with Nova and any of the other galactic level stuff. And eventually the Shi'ar Empire and the Kree Skrull War, all that fun stuff. So when he was terminated by Alan Horn, that left a huge hole. What are you laughing at?
Oh,
Keep going.
The chat has become your fan entirely.
You
Even look at this. Even it's a
Oh,
super chat from
Thank
Max.
you, Mags.
John has declared war on Marvel and the haters today. Wow.
That's awesome.
What should we show for her? Oh, this one.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, but yeah, it's so with that left a huge hole,
Yeah.
and they just grabbed the first cosmic themed thing they could think of, which was Eternals.
Yeah.
And it was half formed at the point where they pulled it.
Yeah.
So they really struggled. You could see in the writing and stuff how there were things that in there. I will, first person to admit there are some things in Eternals that did work.
Yes.
There's a lot that didn't, a whole lot that didn't. And without somebody like James Gunn or somebody else that's actually writing herd over what the whole cosmic thing side's going to be, that affected the quality of movie we got in Eternals.
And we have another super chat.
Wow.
Back door.
Yep.
I'm looking for one. Where is it? Ah, yeah, this one.
Open your back door, baby. Loosen your hinges, I'll show you my key.
Wow. Wow. Welcome to John's Friday morning bomb. Wow. Whew. Good morning.
I'm not even 100% this morning.
Let's see. Wow. Mic drops and all. Jeez.
Yeah.
Okay. You know what? I think we reached that point where we could safely say I think we've had our say on all of this. So to basically wrap up, this is definitely one of those instances where I think everyone should just wait and see what is about to happen. There's not much more we can do at this point. It's unfortunate that Patty, in my opinion, it's unfortunate she's decided to team up with Jeff Johns again to do this.
Yeah.
Again, I think Jeff Johns one of the best at writing comics, but his Hollywood work is sketchy
horrid
at best. Okay, we'll go right with that one too. I'm just he's a talented guy, but
he's outside of his talent area.
I wish I could explain it, but it's unfortunate that Patty doesn't want to spend any more time working on Wonder Woman 3, and it's her choice to go off and do something else. But it looks like Gal's going to stay. And as far as the rest of it is concerned, it's like James Gunn was telling everybody, just wait and see. Wait and see what we do. So
Zaslav's a big fan of Cavill, so he's not going anywhere. I don't care what the other leakers say, unless you give me definite proof that Zaslav has signed off on Henry Cavill no longer being Superman. Then he's going to be Superman. Now, whether Ben Affleck comes back or not is a different story. Because I've he's gone back and forth. He wants to do it. He doesn't want to do it. He's done with it. He's coming back for 3 movies. Excuse me. He's so that is possible that he may be done. But Cavill being done, no, I don't see that at all.
I agree. Well, now we have a second story. This one dealing with author and just all around talent, who I think, in my personal opinion, was one of the best writers of Star Trek comics ever. And again, he should have definitely been consulted if they were creating any new Star Trek series. And that's Peter David.
Yep.
Whom, according to reports, isn't doing so well. So let me turn this over to John to fill you in. John.
Well, Peter David, I've shared something, Martine. Yeah, Peter David, he's actually in a hospital right now. He's still in a hospital. He had multiple strokes and a mild heart attack, and he's not doing well at all. If you don't know Peter David, then that's your loss. You need to really look into this guy. I'm a real big fan of his New Frontier books for Star Trek. They started in 97. Thinking 19 of them, but they're really an interesting take on other parts of the universe that Starfleet has dealt with.
It's good books.
Yeah, they're very good books. There's humor, there's action, there's also just pretty much everything you want. And just Peter David's bibliography, just to scroll up to the top. He's written a lot of he does a lot of tie-in novels and novelizations of a lot of stuff. So he's got he's written Battlestar Galactica, he's written Alien Nation, he's written a Fantastic Four novel, he's written Fable novels, he's written a Halo novel. He's got some series of his own, like the Modern Arthur and Photon and Psyman.
Yeah, well, you know what? I think for me personally, I think his nightlife novels are excellent.
Oh yeah,
Hollywood should be be looking at those novels to adapt those, because that is a really interesting premise. In fact, Netflix ought to adapt those.
Oh, definitely. But his big thing, and a lot of he goes. He's like, somebody had mentioned that he's like the unsung hero of comics.
Yeah,
he has a lot of the arcs you like have been Peter David arcs. Wow. He did Aquaman. He did Aquaman when Aquaman was a badass.
Yeah.
He's done Avengers. He's done Captain Marvel. He's done, including the new Janice Vale, the new Captain Marvel. He's done Hulk. His Hulk runs were legendary.
You know what? The thing is that he is an Eisner Award winner for Best Writer Artist. So that right there.
He created Spider-Man 2099.
Which, again, I will be eternally grateful for that. Because Spider-Man 2099, I mean, whew. And for those of you who don't know who that is, that was Miles Morales before there was a Miles Morales.
Yes.
So,
yeah, he's a Hispanic. It's a set in the future in 2099. He's a Hispanic gentleman that has Spider-Man-like powers.
he just rocks. His
He
costume
does.
rocks. And we're going to see him in the sequel.
Well, technically, we already did because he's in the end credit scene.
He's in the end credits. Well, he's going to play a bigger part in the Into the Spider-Verse sequel. So,
but besides that, he also wrote Young Justice. He wrote Supergirl. He wrote Wolverine. He wrote X Factor. There's just so much, and he wrote a lot of the Star Trek comics.
Yep. And again, I will say, Nightlife. All three of those books, Nightlife, Netflix, get on it.
Yep. But there is a fundraiser for Peter David because despite all he has done, and even having his character of Spider-Man 2099 being a major part of an upcoming animated film, he doesn't have the money to cover all his bills. So they've started a GoFundMe for the family, and his wife has posted an update. It has reached its goal, but that doesn't mean that people should stop giving, because that's just an estimate to help cover. They don't know, and you know how medical bills are; they pile up quickly.
Oh yeah,
so. If you get a chance, I'm going to post this link in the chat. But if you get if you can spare it, donate $5 to him or whatever. But there's a couple of his wife posted a couple updates. They're grateful, of course, for everyone that donated. He said he had tears in his eyes when he told them that the goal was met. But he's going to rehab to strengthen his muscles and help retrain his brain. But Monday he has major surgery, probably for his heart. And so, if you can keep him in your thoughts for this week, that would be amazing, because he's just a singular talent.
Yes, incredible talent. Let's see. So they met their goal. Wow.
Yeah, they had 80. They're up to 81. Let me refresh this. I haven't refreshed this in a while. They're up to $81,964 out of 80,000. So they just met their goal.
Wow. Jeez. Here, let me share this screen right here.
Oh, sorry.
Let's see. And here are all his awards and nominations. Wow.
Yeah. Now, I would like to state, I don't know Peter David personally. I've met him a couple of times. He's a very nice gentleman. He always has time for his fans. He was always willing to sign stuff. But I'm just a big Peter David fan. I have been for a very long time. He did my favorite runs on the Hulk. He did my favorite run on Young Justice. Obviously, he created Spider-Man 2099. He had some. He wrote, as Keith said, he probably did the best Star Trek comic books that were out there.
Yeah,
because he knows he's one of the few, even though he hasn't written anything lately because of New Trek. He knew Star Trek inside and out.
Yep. He probably could have created an entire Star Trek series on his own.
Oh, yeah, easily. Well, he did. That's what New Frontiers is.
True. But I mean, for television, he probably could have. he probably could have done all of it. In fact, Mackenzie Calhoun, great character. And again, he even wrote for Babylon 5.
Yep.
So if you're not familiar with the talent of Peter David, then you really should make yourself familiar, because he's a truly, truly talented man.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if you like Star Trek, I suggest reading his New Frontier novels.
Yeah, that would be a great way to start off.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
I mean, you get like the Spider-Man 99 omniverses, you get his Hulk omnibuses. I would start, if you like Star Trek, I would start with that, because you will be entertained. You will have feels. You'll really get attached to these characters. And he didn't just make up his own characters. He used some existing characters that weren't being used, like Commander Shelby.
Yeah.
From the original series. That was his first officer for a long time.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, Mackenzie Calhoun, he's kind of a loose gun, shall we say. He comes from a warrior society. So he's a little like Kirk, a little like Worf. But he's his own unique character.
Yeah.
And Starfleet makes Shelby his first officer to ride herd on him, which doesn't always work so well.
Wow.
So yeah, that's what I wanted to bring up today, was about Peter David, because I'm tired of seeing, all of our heroes get sick and die off. And hopefully we'll have Peter David around for a long time. So hopefully he can get his issues corrected. Surgery goes well, and he can get back to writing.
Get back to that creative output. Wow. Okay. Well, look. I wish him and his family and friends well. I hope he's able to get back on the mend and get back to riding before Das Wolfen goes off. Wow.
Yeah, I think I'm all truth bombed out today.
Well, that happens. Okay. Well, we are right now at, oh man, we've been going for quite a while. So
yeah, an hour and a half.
Hour and a half. Well, then, if there are no objections, I think I can go ahead and just start thanking everyone, wrapping this up. But first, let me ask John, where can people find you? Where will you be?
Well, you can find me right here on Pop Culture Minefield. Most shows, I'm a panelist. I also stream on my own channel at Real Das Wolfen on Tuesdays. I think I'm going to do something a little different this week. I think I want to do something kind of a Godzilla retrospective for at least the Showa era for the first part, and kind of split up into 3 parts. And of course, I'll do whatever news pops up, because I can't say what's going to be on the news or not by this point. But I will definitely want to do something a little different. I want to do this Godzilla show that I've been wanting to do for a while.
Cool.
So.
Okay. Let's see. Martin.
Well, I'm always here.
Yes, you are.
And as of lately, I've been with Das Wolfen in Joe's Atmosphere show.
Yep. Oh, I forgot about that.
Yeah, that's a funny show, man. You should go. You should go follow him if you are not.
And I also forgot I'm the chat manager starting this weekend for Dark Side of the Ring.
Right. So
Wow, you are just busy.
Yep.
Well, you can find me definitely on Fridays, and I'm here Friday mornings, and then later on this afternoon, you'll find me on TGIF. I'll definitely be here tomorrow, Saturday morning fun time, and for wherever else you catch me, here, there, and everywhere, all over Pop Culture Minefield, on Twitter and Facebook, and all the other lovely places you can find us.
Yeah. I'm not used to being different places, and I completely forgot I'm also a permanent panelist on that 70s rock fans Monday shows. This week we're doing Strange Brew with Bob and Doug McKenzie.
Rock. It's a good movie.
Oh, yeah.
Well, okay. Okay, everybody. Well, then to Lord Thoth and Sean Estes and Mexican Iron Man. Let's see. Apollomes Minion, Joseph Dredd, D. Bud Martin, Crusader Lion, Anima Confusa, Dork Knight, Bill Barkley, Christopher Moonlight Productions, Magitech Mags, Cameron Vale, Retro Nerd Girl, Wolverine 626, Alex Moore, Shanatsky, AF Watcher 88, Destiny Captain, Marcos A, Dragon Ruse, CJ with Action Grip, Scribe Light, Zax, Penny. Let's see, Code Raven, Kingsport Cow, Eastland Burkholder. This has been Morning Coffee with Keith. See you later.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Pop Culture Minefield. If you've enjoyed the show, please make sure to like, subscribe, and don't forget to click the bell icon for updates on our shows and channel. Also, please leave a comment, and we'd like to know what you thought of the episode, as well as letting us know if there's something you'd like us to cover in a future episode. Don't forget that you can become a member of Pop Culture Minefield now. Make sure to visit our membership page and merch store at popcultureminefield.com. You can always find Pop Culture Minefield on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.